Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. I have the Blood Oath Pact number 10. So we have here the wonderful writing. We have here I gotta hold it up right. We have here Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in Cabernet Franc and Merlot casks. We have 49.3% ABV. I do have a whiskey base number 254444. Now, the German importer, Perola, actually had bottles of this. That's where I got mine from. And they actually had a recommended retail price of 159 euros. Now, if I go over to the Virginia ABC store, they also say $139.99. But if I go to the San Francisco Wine Trading or the Folsom Wine and Spirits, $229, $249. So I even see prices going up to €349 for this. This is crazy. Top Bourbon has it for $274. I'm not really sure I'd ever be willing to pay that price for this. All right, what is this? I'm going to read from the website, bloodoathbourbon.com, pack number 10. That is the 2024 release, the 10th release, by the way. And it says 2 well-bred rye bourbons and 1 finished bourbon, each complementing the other in this, our 10th edition pact. In honor of this double-digit milestone, we've achieved a double finish. The first finish was perfected in Cabernet Franc barrels, with the second refined in Merlot casks. So what we have here is a portion of this, not everything. A portion of this, is it a third? Is it 20%? Is it 5%? Is it 50%? I don't know. No one tells us. A portion of this is actually receives a double finish in those 2 wine casks. The other 2 parts of this, are just rye bourbons. Not wheated bourbons, normal bourbons, not even high rye. Now, I'm going to briefly go through the different packs we've had over the years because I think it's interesting. Last year, pack number 9, which I did not review, I did not find a bottle of this at all, any place in Germany for a normal price. That was actually 16-year-old rye bourbon, 12-year-old, and 7-year-old whiskey that was finished in a Spanish Oloroso sherry cask. So we have ages. We don't have an age with this. Shame on us. Pack number 8. It was a 14-year-old, 11-year-old, and 8-year-old. All rye bourbons finished in Calvados casks from the Normandy region of France. Pack number 7, we have 14-year-old, 8-year-old, and another 8-year-old rye bourbon. And they were all finished in Sauternes casks from the Bordeaux region of France. Pack number 6. It was a masterful union of 3 well-bred bourbons, just like this year. We don't know how old they are. And this was cognac cask for the finish. Pack number 5, a masterful union of 3 well-bred bourbons. Probably the same places they've been using the whole time. Caribbean rum barrels. Pack number 4, a masterful union of 3 well-bred bourbons. No age statements. Pack number 3, a masterful union of well-bred bourbons. We don't even have the word 3 well-bred bourbons. We just have well-bred, but they were finished in Cabernet Sauvignon casks from California. Pack number 2, a masterful union of well-bred bourbons. We don't have a number. And pack number 1, we do have this, a masterful union of 3 extra-aged, how old we don't know, well-bred bourbons. Also here, not the word rye anywhere. Okay, those are the 10 bottlings we've had so far. It goes back to the year 2015. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 10 different expressions we've had so far. Now you're going to laugh, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take 4 Roses. This is 49.3%. I can get this for under €40 over here. And I'm going to pour in a nice little amount of single barrel Four Roses product. And then I'm going to take this nice little wine here. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's from Chile, from South America. It is not a Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc, by the way, I thought that was kind of interesting. When you do the research, Cabernet Franc is one of 6 different types of grapes that are allowed to be used in the Bordeaux region for red wine. The other 5 are Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet, Malbec, Merlot, and Petit Verdot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a drop. That's a drop. And this little drop of whiskey is going to, this little drop of wine is going to transform this whiskey. So now the color is darker. It was darker before I put the red wine in there, but it's darker. Don't forget, only a small portion of this had the red wine, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot finishes. Here on the nose, I do get a little bit of a fruity more moment there. I do get a little bit caramel there. Over here, ooh, I get more of a raspberry type of moment. Very, very nice. Let's try them. My personal opinion, WhiskyJason, say, this is sourced whiskeys. It says bottled by or bottled for. So it doesn't say bottled by. It says bottled for Lexrow Distillers in Bardstown, Kentucky. This is the experiment series. So they first of all started blending, just like Bardstown Bourbon Company did later on. Then they started finishing, which is great. I don't have any problems with finishing. That's good. Masters Collection's been doing it by Woodford now for 20 plus years. What I have a problem with is me being the guinea pig and paying through the nose for a product like this. Is this worth $160? No. Is it worth $260? No. Is it worth $360? Forget it. This is not fabulous, fabulous whiskey. Now, I'm sure I can find something better out there for, and now if I'm Virginia from Control State, and I really wanted this wonderful box, and if I really wanted this bottle, and I really liked the finishing casks that were used, maybe it was rum, maybe it was Calvados, maybe it was Oloroso, maybe it was Californian Cabernet Sauvignon, and I really wanted to try Sultan, whatever they all were, and I really wanted to try it, then maybe. But would I go an extra $100 on secondary market and go for it and pick it up? No. So sorry. Cheers. Let me back up my opinion with my tasting experience. The thing that gets me here is the heat. Even on, let me go to the official website here. The official website says here, the aroma is sweet fruit with hints of oak. Definitely get the oak. Appearance is deep, dark amber with long legs, maybe. Ingredients, corn, rye, barley, of course. It's a 3-grain whiskey. The palate is rich caramel. Almost get that. Flavors of tart raspberries. I get the tartness. And black pepper. I love it that they tell us this has pepper. This is hot. And it is. But the finish, there's a distinct note of these red stone fruits with undertones of vanilla. And what I really get is cacao. So the coca beans. Coca. And I get a little bit of that chocolatey moment there. It's a good whiskey. This is, don't get me wrong, this is a C plus B minus whiskey. But the price, $160 to $330, is just, no. Stop buying things like this. And I bought it. I'm sorry. But I did do a bottle share. All right. So I made a lot of people happy that they could try this whiskey as well. No one did a bottle share with number 9 with me last year. I would have loved to have even just a sample of that. When I say this, Marcel, you probably sent me a sample. I probably have a sample of this someplace, but who knows. But I bought the bottle this year, and I was fast enough, and I got that. Now, this actually smells for me a tad bit better, but yeah, I have a little bit of the feeling that Cabernet Sauvignon and the Four Roses are still fighting. There's not the harmony. There's not that overlapping goodness that each product actually bring out the best in the other. And this was a mini drop, and I have not given it time to form those bonds, to mingle together and create something more than it is. Many companies, Waterford would be one example. They empty their barrels, put it in a big vatting tank, and then let it rest for 6 weeks. Now, if I let this rest even just for 1 day, it would taste differently than now. I would assume, I would hope that it would actually get better. Now, this, how long was the finish in the Cabernet Franc, and how long was it in the Merlot casks? No information whatsoever. Was it 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? Who knows? Why did we pick 49.3? Is that actually the standard of all the different packs we've had so far? Let me go over to the pack number 1. What was the ABV of this? So, no information whatsoever about that. Interesting. Where do I start getting information here about the ABV? Let's go to pack number 5. Fairly sure I'd had that. Also no ABV. Wow. All right, good. That's the way it is, I guess. My question of the day is pack 11. What should they do now? What finishing casks actually go best with bourbon? I'm going to say port. I don't think they've done port. Angel's Envy's done port. Port and bourbon work together very, very nicely. They have not done tequila yet. They have not done any beer finishings, stouts, IPAs, all those that we have in Scotland, all over the place, or even Ireland. They have not done here a white wine. They have not done a white port. They have not done here I said tequila mezcal. They have not done a Amorona. They have not done a Malaga. They have not done a, what was the other thing called? Not Malaga. We have then here a Madeira. They have not done, there's so many different things they could do. Which ones, if we're going to go with the finishing cask, which ones would you prefer the best? Please write that down in the comments. And I'm going to ask you to do that because I am going to do an experiment. And by the time this whiskey video airs, it's already been done. But I'm going to take 10 liters of bourbon, different things like just heels or whatever of Four Roses and Elijah Craig and Evan Williams and even some Wild Turkey Rare Breed. And I'm going to take it and empty all the bottles into a 10-liter or 9-liter cask. Cask is going to be a tank, a little container. And then I'm going to actually let it settle down for a week or two. And then I'm going to fill it up into 9, maybe even 10 different 1-liter bottles. And then I'm going to have the control whiskey, which I don't do anything with. And then one's going to use French oak. One's going to use American oak. One's going to use... I did this with Irish whiskey already. And this time I'm actually going to have one that I just pour, literally, rum into it. I'm going to pour one. I'm going to have red wine. I'm going to have one that I'm going to do probably Madeira. I'm going to have one that I'm going to do with different types of sherries. And I'm going to demonstrate what effect these finishing distillates have on the whiskeys. And I might just actually put wood chips in those with the rums, with the ports and so on to have a little bit of the wood effect as well. I might not. I'm not sure yet. And I'm going to experiment. I'm going to have 30 some sets that I'm going to send out to people all over Germany, and they're going to actually try that with me and see what happens blind. First of all, will we identify what that finishing is? And the thing is, we have the standard base product. Does it actually improve, or do I actually subtract and make it worse? I'm sure I'm going to have one or two I'm going to make it worse, but I hope I have 7 or at least 6 that I make better with those finishing exercises. I'm really looking forward to that. That's a wonderful, wonderful experiment to do and to figure out what goes on there. And you can do experiments like that at home. You have a bottle and you have a glass and you have a little here pipette, and you can actually put drops of, instead of water, rum or red wine that you have there, or sherry, or if you have Calvados, or whatever you have, you can put it in your whiskeys and you can compare the standard nothing and what changes in the whiskey. And you can actually, just like we did the Poor Man's Pappy back there, where we took W.L. Weller 107, mixed it together with, was it Buffalo Trace and something else, and you had let it set for another week or two in the little bottles you did it in, and then you tried it and you compared it to the normal Pappy, if it was Lot B or if it was something else, and you notice how similar it was, but it really needed to have that time to mingle. And that's what I'm going to give that whiskey there. I'm going to let it mingle for 4 weeks plus and see what happens. And I think that's great. And we can do that ourselves. Just go out, buy some sample bottles, make sure, if my opinion, they should be glass. Plastic is not my favorite thing there. And just let it set. Do little experiments and find out what you like. Why not? WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, being very, very experimental and encouraging you to do things that the whiskey industry should not be doing, but I think are valid experiments for us. Bye-bye.